Welcome back to the Untamed Social Podcast. My name is Lainey, and I'm here with my bestie girl, Anna.
Hey.
Don't tell anybody else on the team I said that.
They're all going to see this, so...
You're right. You're right. No, really, though. You and I just have a great time together, okay?
We understand each other.
And I feel like people are in for a treat today because I think we're coming in kind of hardcore with our topic. Because really, it's for all of the brands who are doing things that they shouldn't be doing because they don't pay attention or they're lazy. We're going to talk about the social media basics that most brands skip, but you shouldn't. And there's actually a lot of them. So hopefully we can get to like the core main ones. But I don't know. I just feel like we get clients all the time who come in and they're like, we need help. And then we look at like their foundation of what they've got going on. And it's like, what are you doing?
Well, because social media is so accessible, like, there's also a lot of bad, unprofessional, like, not well done content out there. And so other people see it and they're like, oh, I could do something like that. And it's like, no, please don't.
Please do not. Please do not. So we'll start off. Hopefully we're going to have like kind of 4 main areas for you to focus on to keep it structured. Number 1, okay, let's just keep it structured here. Go in this order. Sometimes you may need somebody to tell you the hard truth of just do this, don't ask questions. Number 1, strategy. So many companies just fall into this idea of, okay, like we're not being present, let's just post to post. And there's zero thought that goes into it, and that frustrates me beyond belief.
It's like buying a billboard and being like, oh, we could just put anything up there. Like, people are going to see this with their real life eyes. And so you have to look at it like any other part of marketing. If you're going to print an ad in a newspaper, you're going to have so many different eyeballs on it and put so much effort into it. So, like, you should be doing that with social media, too.
Yes, like, and like, there are obviously different parts to creating a social media strategy, which we'll get to. But, like, the idea that you don't need this as your foundation is wild. I mean, obviously, social media can give you results. We've seen it. We know firsthand. But in order to get those results, you need to figure out what kind of results are you looking for. Like, basic.
Definitely.
So, knowing that, okay, so what would you say is, like, the first step in, if you're going to start with a strategy, what's the first thing that you're going to want to figure out?
I feel like probably looking at what you're actually wanting out of social media. So determining your goals, be it you want people to start buying your product or your service, you just want to bring brand awareness, you want to bring awareness to a certain topic or anything like that. Like, whatever you're wanting from it, you need to be able to establish that goal, or else you're not going to be able to root any of your content in anything.
Yes, or measure anything. Yeah, like, I mean, that's a whole other situation that we probably won't even touch on today, but like your analytics, like you got to be tracking them. And if you have nothing to like decide what are we even tracking, why are we tracking these numbers, then there's no purpose behind it. But I did want to say, I'm glad that you said brand awareness, because this is something that anytime that I have a consulting client, or maybe it's kind of like a discovery call of a prospect who's thinking about hiring us for social media management services, we always tell them, especially because we focus mainly on organic social, like if you're not putting paid into it, or you're at least not putting a lot of money into that bucket, brand awareness is your number 1 ROI every single time. Like, if you're thinking otherwise, you're wrong. Brand awareness needs to be top of mind. You're wrong.
You're wrong. Well, I love that. My favorite question that we like ask clients when we first start working with them is like, how can we know we've succeeded? Like, what does it mean to you guys to have success? Is it a certain amount of followers? Is it a certain amount of conversions? And I think that that's really important to put in people's minds, because no one ever comes into those client meetings asking that question. It's usually something we always have to bring forward. And it's my absolute favorite sort of intake question that we do is like, how do we know we've done a good job?
Yeah, definitely. Because most of the time they don't know, and they actually come to us and they're like, how should we? Do you know?
Yeah.
And I love that. But in addition to that, I feel like So that being your favorite question of like our intake call with them, mine is whenever we get to the point where we ask them about their audience. Because this is my biggest pet peeve of all time is when you're a brand and you have no idea who your target audience is, how they want to be spoken to, what's actually their desires, their struggles. That is definitely like under my skin, and I might not want to work with you if you don't know that. Because it's necessary. Like, if you aren't doing the market research to understand who your client or your customer is, why on God's green earth are they going to buy from you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
well,
it's
and also,
wild.
Like, social media content is this monolith. Like, there's so much stuff out there, and to be able to know what other people are doing in your same field, your competitors, your friends, even like to know what everyone's doing is so key to be able to keep the wheels turning. Like, for some clients, we put out content literally every single day. There's only so many ideas in the world. You need to be able to make sure either you're not doing a carbon copy of someone else's, or if there's a different angle you could be taking that someone else is doing.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because if you really think about it, like, there's kind of two things to that, and this leads into like our second point. So like the first thing being, start with a strategy. Who are you talking to? Do you even know anything about your audience? And also, what are your goals? Do you know what those are? And along with that, like, knowing your competitors is, I think, something that most brands miss out on. And I can't fault people for this, because I think it's really easy to get trapped into like looking at what your competitors are doing, or what other brands who maybe aren't competitors but are, you know, like a big brand that you see them having success and you want a taste of that. So you start to do trends and things that they're doing. The second part of like really the social media basics is figuring out how you as a brand stand out. And I don't even think that means necessarily only against your competitors, because there's so many brands out there who are standing out and they're not even thinking about their competitors, like Nutter Butter. They're like, I don't know who they were thinking about. They were thinking about extraterrestrials or something, but they were not thinking about their competition, anybody else's competition.
Yeah.
They were just saying, how can we be unique?
Well, and something that's interesting about that is I feel like sometimes the need to stand out or the need to have this super unique content can sometimes be really daunting for people, and it can hold them back and be like, oh, I'm just going to do this formula I've seen somewhere else because it worked for them. And it almost seems like too big of a task to try to figure out how you or your brand could stand out. But it really is quite foundational into, I don't know, if you just want to have any kind of success that isn't cookie cutter. Yeah,
definitely. And another point to that, I'm going to go ahead. This is a freebie. I'm not going to charge anybody for this advice, because I actually just read it in a book by Mark Schaefer called Audacious. And what he talks about in the book is that the key to standing out with any type of marketing is to create a feeling of awe. And so that could look like a lot of different things, right? Like if you surprise somebody, that's an awe-inspiring feeling. If there's pain there, like emotional pain, if there's, you know, joy and happiness, that's awe. There's so many ways that you can create awe. And it's just about finding how are you going to create that awe with the content that you're creating, so that you really hit those like emotional points with your audience to hook them in. Not only that, but then keep them there. And I think people miss that a lot.
Well, because even, like, we could categorize intrigue as a feeling of awe. Because, like, have you ever seen someone make a TikTok that's about something that'll, like, never apply to your life? And the top comment is, like, I don't have kids, but I watch this entire thing. Or something like that. And it's that kind of thing of being, like, people consume so much content every single day. They, low-key, will watch anything. So even if you think your thing is really niche, really confusing, really boring, if you present it well enough, people will watch it, even if it has nothing to do with that. Like, you can sit there and be, my audience is moms from 30 to 50 who are, like, doing XYZ. And you're still probably going to get eyes on it that aren't that. And if you make it interesting enough, people will keep watching. People will feed that right back to the algorithm.
And you're so right. Like, I can't even tell you, my FYP is so wild, and I'm involved in so many things that I actually am not involved in. That it's so easy when somebody presents that to you in a way that gives you those feelings, like you're all the way in. So I think that outside of like determining your goals and making sure you really truly understand your audience, top of the line has got to be like, how are you going to stand out? How are you going to create those feelings of awe so that you're not duplicating what other creators are doing or other brands are doing, and you're allowing yourself to be unique, have your own voice, and to really stand out in the market.
Yeah, one person on TikTok who really, really stands out to me, which is funny because he does cooking content, and there's so much cooking content. But his name is Kevin, and he does the cooking at the sorority house. Have you ever seen his videos?
No, but I need to be on it.
Okay, he's got like, I want to say probably close to millions of followers at this point, but maybe not. And he literally just does voiceovers while he cooks these meals, but he's coming up with each of these recipes. They're all like a little unique and interesting. Like one time he made a salad with a grilled cheese crouton. And he has just his spin on it, and it's so clearly like reflective of him and his personality, and therefore it totally stands out in the terms of like the cooking, the like beast that is the cooking community on TikTok. Same with the singing chef. He writes a little song for each of his recipes, and he just sings the entire recipe like while he cooks it. And so
you're on a lot of cooking TikToks.
My boyfriend likes to cook, so we send each other. Yeah.
So I don't cook. I don't cook. No. Yeah.
Well, I cook for myself. I never cook for two, usually. He does all the cooking for two. Like, I can feed myself, but...
Yours is cheese toast in the toaster, because that's me. Yep. Every time.
I make a really mean butter noodle, so...
That takes a lot of skill, okay?
It does. They're sacred.
Oh my goodness.
Back to standing out. Back to content.
You can see it takes nothing to get us intrigued. Nothing.
Are you having a feeling of awe right now?
You should be if you're not. So anyways, so we start off with strategy, then we go into how do we stand out? How do we make ourselves unique and give our own point of view with our own voice? And then I think there's like, this is the boring part in my opinion, but also like it's necessary because, you know, algorithms, they kind of require it. But also like there's foundational things that need to happen behind the scenes too, that is kind of like the algorithm of your life, like how to actually make things work. So there's a foundational piece there of like, once you have figured out, you know, what your strategy is and how you're going to be unique, then you like have to actually get into doing the work. And that starts with a couple of things in my opinion. Number one is setting up your profiles on whatever accounts you're going to, or whatever social platforms you're going to be utilizing. And then also setting up an actual content calendar. If I find one more company that doesn't have a content calendar, woo!
I know this is like the phase that my mom is in with her social media because she's an artist, and I'm right there at that basics part with her where it's like your Instagram bio needs to have these specific features. You need to have your link to your website. If you're gonna have highlights, they need to look like this, or like you need to pick a day to post. Like I remember I was like driving in the car with her and we were talking about social media strategy, and I was like, the biggest piece of advice I could give you is like you're gonna pick 2 days that you're gonna post on. And that's the only days you're going to have to think about this because it's stressful for her. Obviously, it's like not her domain. And so Tuesdays and Thursdays, she shoots a TikTok or she shoots like an Instagram reel and she sends it to me and I help her with it and then she posts it. And those are the only days she has to worry about it and figure it out. But now she's got this consistent flow going with it. She's got a bank of ideas and she's able to be like, okay, it's Tuesday or Thursday. I'm putting something out today. People know what to expect with it. And like her numbers got so much better the second she started being consistent with it.
Oh my gosh. You don't have to expose her now, but later give me your handle so I can follow her. Because your mom is super supportive for us on social media.
Oh my gosh, I know. Every time I see like who's watched the Instagram stories, it's like my sister's boyfriend and my mom. And I'm like, oh, hey. Okay, y'all.
That's so good. I love that. But yeah, I mean, it's so true. And I think that Well, I can't really judge. I'm over here just like throwing out judgment, but I remember where I was before I started working with Strella, and I get sat down a little because I actually did used to be that person who would be like, you don't have to, plan in advance. Like I'm just a procrastinator. It's just who I am. And so I get the feeling of like this goes against the grain for me. But because I've been so immersed in it for the past 3 years, like now I know no different. And it truly makes a difference. Not only do you need a content calendar, but you also need like a task management system to keep you accountable. And I think that people miss that a lot too. Like at Strella, we use Trello. So we have a task management board, each of us, that every day we have tasks on it that we know that we need to complete. It helps to keep us organized and structured and to make sure that we're accountable. And so, anytime I come to a consulting client, they don't have a content calendar, they think, okay, well, let's create the content calendar. No. Let's stop, pause. We're creating a task management system first, okay? Because you can't do anything unless you're like actively creating lists of things that you need to do each week.
And a place to house all the different stuff. Like you can't just have, like, if you're the one social media person on a team, you can't just have all of this like existing in your phone. It needs to be saved elsewhere so other people can see it, you can share it easily, and like if something happens, there's another place you can go to that. And maybe that's why I'm traumatized. Maybe it's just because I'm traumatized by my computer hitting the fan last week. But the benefit of having all of your stuff organized in the cloud somewhere, I don't care which cloud it is. It could be
where the cloud
Google
is, yeah.
Drive, wherever the cloud, whatever cloud works for you, house things in it. Be able to access all of your files and like your content calendar from a different place. Don't just have it all sort of unorganized on your phone, because then like one hiccup, one thing needs to be changed, and it can get messy really, really quickly.
Really fast. Is it weird that as you were saying that, I was thinking it could be a stratus cloud or a cumulus cloud? Something's wrong. Okay.
Your kids learn about clouds right now? How do you remember those?
Oh, man. So, yes, so that's the foundation of that. But then going back to like the platforms, a lot of people skip that. They don't optimize at all. And it's like the algorithm, this is part of the algorithm. I think people forget that. TikTok, maybe not so much. Okay. Yeah. I can see where TikTok is kind of up in the air as, whether that matters or not. Instagram, for sure. Like, all day long, if you're not optimizing your bio and putting in there, things like who you are, what you do, who you serve, then it's going to be really difficult to find you or for your information to pop up on somebody's feed. And also just making sure that, like, you're giving access to people. Like you mentioned, links for your mom. My Lord, the amount of brands that, like, don't put their links in their bios. That's
crazy. Or if a link to something random. Like, they do have a link, but it's, like, outdated, or it's to something, I don't know, something completely irrelevant. It's like, no. This needs to be so much more centralized.
That, or they have 45 links. Like, if they have a link tree and you have to scroll down, I'm done. We're done.
And some of them are named something like Spring 2020 Bash, and it's like, okay, that was 5 years ago. Why am I looking at this link right now? Why is it in front of my face?
Yes, this does require you to, like, continuously keep up to date with
things, yeah.
Yeah. It's not a one-stop shop, you're done, okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be number 3. So, building that foundation. And then I feel like once you kind of have those 3 down and, like, truly mastered them, okay? Like, let's not just, like, willy-nilly do these things. When you have mastered these things, then I feel like the big thing that you should focus on is building your community.
I definitely agree. I feel like also sometimes people get, like, shy about doing that. Like, even posting content is sometimes really scary for people. And so once it's there, they're like, I can't look at it. It's like how Adam Driver wouldn't watch his own movies. Yeah. It's like, no, you still have to go on the press tour. Like, you have to go in and you like all those comments. You have to go respond to people and maybe start following people back if you're really small. Like, you've got to, if you're going to put yourself out there, you have to put yourself out there all the way.
Yes, I'm so glad that you said that because that was definitely something I was thinking. Like, it's very easy to think build community means like you're just responding, but the truth of the matter is that you have to be proactive. If you move into a new neighborhood and they're having a block party and you don't get invited, you can't sit back and just say like, oh, woe is me. They should have come to me. Like, no, it's also your responsibility to be a part of that. Why did I use that metaphor? I don't know, but I did. So
you were uninvited to the block party one too many times.
I was, for good reason. But if you want to be part of that block party, you have to be proactive. You have to get out there, find other people in your space that are within your niche, and just start connecting. And that's when people ask me how did, back in the day, 20 years ago. I'm just kidding. It wasn't that long ago. But, when I was seeing success on Instagram, they would always say to me, like, how did you do this? And the truth of the matter is that it was all because I made connections on my own. Like, I went out of my way to get to know the other people within the space that I was in, and I created relationships there. So then they started to share me on their stories and in their feed, and when that happens, then you start to tap into their audience. You can't just tap into their audience if you're not willing to, like, go out of your way to get to know them.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly probably one of the biggest selling points for like what we do here at Strella to clients is like they do not want to respond to people's comments. They just simply do not want to be doing that on their own, and like to be able to give that task to someone else is like very, very appealing because people just don't seem to like this step of it. It's all fun and games like shooting videos and making pretty calendars and ideas, but the second you have to be like in the app talking to random people and being a part of this, no one wants to do anymore.
Yeah, which is understandable, especially like if you're somebody who just doesn't like people. Valid.
Real.
So just to kind of recap, the top tips, okay, that you should be focusing on for social media. Number 1, building your strategy. Number 2, how do you stand out? How do you make yourself unique in your space? And then you got to build that foundation, making sure that you're creating a system that works for you internally and making sure your profiles are optimized, and then building your community so that you can start to reap the rewards. And just remember that, like, once you've done steps 1, 2, and 3, it frees up your time a little bit, and
100%.
You should put more energy into building the community.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
Yes, that is perfect. I 100% agree.
Well, I hope everybody appreciates everything that we delivered to them today. I'm pretty sure this is Anna and I's last time being on the podcast together.
It might get banned after this.
You're right. But as always, Anna, I had the best time with you.
I had the best time with you too, Lainey.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Untamed Social, and we'll see you next time.